move forward with what's next. Kevin, we just dropped the gloves with Bram Weinstein, so I'm glad that we get to go to you next. What's up, brother?
Well, I love this because this is an appetizer for me because I'm going toe-to-toe with Bram in a few minutes after this.
There we go.
How about that?
All right, now be ready because Kev, because he's coming for you.
Yeah, you know what, Kevin?
You know what?
He's trying to tell people that we are making an excuse for the last loss to the Commanders because of the Jalen Hurts concussion. That's not an excuse. It's a reason.
And here's another thing. Like, I was actually on a show earlier this week with some media from Washington, and I brought that up. I brought what happened in the last game. I brought up Devontae Smith dropping a pass, and rarely does. And if he catches that ball, even with Kenny Pickett there, Eagles win that game. And they provided a handful of other reasons why. And I just, at the end of the conversation, while they made their case, I said, I love your confidence. And that's what's going on. There is so much confidence right now in the DMV around the Commanders. Let it all happen. Let them all ride this wave and feel good about it. It means nothing. Right now, the vibe I've gotten, it feels like, and I'm okay with it, it's Philly versus everybody. It feels like the entire country wants to see Jaden Daniels play in New Orleans. And I'm looking forward to the Eagles spoiling the party in South Philly.
All right, Kev, can I ask you a couple things here? One is, how is SVP? Because I can imagine there could be a little discord between the 6 p.m. Sports Center and the late night Sports Center.
And Jalen, if you remember, Jalen took a shot at him last time after the Thursday night game.
And I know my first producer at ESPN, Stanford Steve, would he's got that big goon to help him too. You know, his little body on you. So be careful because Steve, he could take you out.
Yes, he can. I was actually with both those guys over the weekend.
Great coverage, by the way.
National
They're the best.
Well, thank you. They're great dudes.
Great guys.
Stanford Steve also is a Mets fan. So
yeah, exactly.
He loves to give me, the we were going back and forth throughout September and October, obviously, with the postseason and the Mets and Phillies conversation. But, so if you go back, SVP and I, one of the best people you could ever be around. I love him. I consider him a great mentor, also a very good friend. And we're going back and forth through the years of Temple and Maryland. And, we used to put, tasty cakes on the line.
Right.
We saw each other Monday night. I had texted him, actually, Sunday. And Saturday night I texted him. I was like, I can't even imagine what you're feeling. Congratulations. And then Sunday night I said, all right, what's on the line? He didn't respond. So Monday I see him, and it just comes over to me, and he's like, we got to do something that really hurts. And I was like, I agree. I said, forget the tasty cakes. Something's got to be really on the line. He's like, let me think of something. And so it's great banter. It's great fun, especially with people that, listen, the Commanders haven't tasted, this franchise hasn't tasted anything positive since RG3, and that lasted a year.
They were VHS tapes, and there was no social media when they were last relevant.
Sounds just like the Cowboys,
the Joe Gibbs era. So
yes.
It's been fun. I'm still waiting for Scotty to come up with something. If not, I'll have some suggestions. If you guys got any suggestions, let me know. But it's got to be something.
How about a toupee? Scotty does. SVP does. SVP has to do a segment with a toupee.
John, if I bring that up, don't you think he's going to say, "Well, then you got to shave your head"? And there's no way I'm.
You can't do that. You got to be careful about that.
Yeah, but that's much more permanent. That'd be hard.
There's no way I'm giving that up. Even though I have confidence that I don't have to worry. I can't even think about.
So I want to talk about that confidence because I can hear it in your tone. And remember, I was out before the Packers game with the flu, and
I thought he was a little.
Johnny told me that Phoenixville got soft,
a little muted.
And then last week you were a little bit more confident, but you were still a little. You could still hear a little bit of nerves in your tone. You seem a lot more confident today. Is that right?
Honestly, so the Packers game, I was really worried about how they were going to approach this game, especially what we saw last year with the Packers in the postseason. And I actually came off of that game very concerned about the way Jalen played. This week, after the Rams experience, and I predicted how that game was going to go. I knew it was going to be a dogfight. I knew that they were going to be a completely different team, and it wasn't going to be easy. And I had a lot of Eagles fans, you don't know what you're talking about. We're going to beat them by 30. And I'm like, it ain't going to be that easy, man. And clearly we saw all the way to the end, even after the Saquon touchdown, all of us were pretty tight. So this game, I'm nervously excited because I came off of that game against the Rams in the snow, and I thought Jalen played a lot better than the narrative. I'm concerned about him taking the sacks, but he had tweaked his knee. We all know some of the shortcomings. He does not see the field across the middle as well as that we'd like to see. He just doesn't. They don't throw passes across the middle. You don't see play action that we'd like to see, that we see with other quarterbacks. But, man, he protects the football. And when you look at the conditions, Matthew Stafford was fantastic throwing the football. But guess what? Matthew Stafford got sacked and fumbled.
Yep.
And one thing that stood out is Jalen Hurts has been protecting the football. And if that means sometimes you're not going to throw the football, and it drives some of us crazy, I know that as Eagles fans, throw it, but you also still possess the football and you're not taking a chance and a risk, I'm okay with that in those conditions that we saw in the snow. And I think people forget that. A.J. Brown catches that 1 yard on the 1 yard line that's potentially a touchdown. They don't have the penalty down the field. They don't have the Lane Johnson offside. Like, to me, it's a completely different perspective. And he held onto the ball a little bit. That's because he couldn't move around. I didn't think I thought it was malpractice in the play call in the end zone where the safety happened, because why is he dropping back when he can't move when you have 26 of that offensive line? Just run the football and then punt, right? So some of those things, I give Jalen not a pass, but I give some context here on the conversation after this week. What has to happen? And let's not forget, he had that fantastic 44-yard run out the gate. So I'm kind of curious where his knee is. He's got to make 3 or 4 throws, and guess what? A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith got to make some catches. They've got to help the quarterback. And I'll add one other thing. My bigger concern is when the Commanders are in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, and 3rd and 7. What are we going to do with number 5? And because Jaden Daniels can be so dangerous in extending drives with his legs, because he never makes a bad decision. The guy is like a 35-year-old veteran with 22-year-old legs. He makes incredible decisions throughout the game. He's not fazed by any environment that we've seen the last couple of weeks. He's riding momentum. The one thing that also makes me feel good is that Vic Fangio and his defense, they don't blitz as much as the Lions. I couldn't believe how much the Lions kept on blitzing. So they're going to be patient. And Quignon's got to be healthy. De'Ami Brown's a key player for the Commanders in this game. He's stepped up the last couple of weeks. So I'm going into this game feeling really good about our defense and feeling really good about where this offense can actually expose the Commanders and we could run the football. They're going to stack 8 in the box, so Jalen's got to make a few throws. I feel good about this game. I don't know about that line moving from 4.5 to 6.5. That's like, whoa.
There might be a reason why.
I think that I think there's an explanation, and the explanation. Remember, you had Quignon and Jalen both in the facility, probably getting tested, and then somebody leaks out information and says, "Man, the health report was good on both of them," and then all of a sudden we see it go up by 1.5 to 2 points. There was no other explanation for it on a Monday.
Completely fair, and that explains a heck of a lot too. I will add one final thing to this. This is a divisional game. This is not a conference championship game. This is a divisional game. We know the history between the Commanders and Eagles, especially the last few years. Both teams know each other really well. They got Jonathan Allen coming back. That plays a role here. This is not going to be one of those, hey, they win by 10. This is going to potentially be a difference of field goals. And let me tell you, Jake Elliott scares the bejesus out of me.
Well, no, hold on, Kevin. Only on point after attempts. We found a stat yesterday. Ruben Frank does a great job at NBC Sports Philadelphia. Jake Elliott is 22 of 22 in his playoff career with field goals, which is best all time. He has the worst point after percentage in the history of the postseason in the NFL. So they just need to kick field goals with him and maybe go for 2 every time when they score a touchdown.
Fellas, how do you explain that?
I don't know.
It has to be in his head. It's got to be in his head. It's got to.
It has to be focused, right? Like
psychological, or you get the yips. I've heard about your golf game. It very much can happen. It can happen. Mine too.
But I'll tell you, like, let's just say the Eagles score 3 touchdowns and he misses 2 of those extra points. We saw that with the Rams, man. That's why we were all tight. That's why we needed Jalen Carter on that sack. So that scares me a little bit because the divisional game, everybody knows each other. When the 4.5 line came out, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. I'm concerned about our kicking game, so that's why we've got to score and continue to score because the Commanders aren't going to go away.
Yes, it's got to be a touchdown game. You're right, Kevin. Listen, man, I like the confidence today.
Yes.
I like the confidence.
That's the Negandhi we like having on.
And I'm excited for next week when we have you on again and we're celebrating the NFC Championship game.
Don't say that.
Oh, no. There's no such thing as a jinx.
I'm saying it, Kevin.
Yeah, I don't write checks like that yet. All right? Let's cash the one at
Well, you're not the one saying it. How about that? I am.
All right.
All right, Kevin.
Take care,
we'll
buddy.
talk to you next week.
Go Birds.
Go Birds. There he is, Kevin Negandhi on the Comcast Business Hotline. All right.
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.